Hi, I'm Maureen McGuigan,
And I'm Wayne Evans.
and you're watching Living in the City, where today we're going to take a tour of the Colonnade, a building I know everybody's been curious about recently. Wouldn't you say, Wayne?
Everybody in Scranton, that's for sure. I mean, we're at 401 Jefferson Avenue. Everybody knows it. Jefferson and Mulberry. You know, the building with the columns.
Right. Yeah, and it's really exciting. Two entrepreneurs and visionaries, Paul Blackledge and Josh Mast, have taken this on as a project as part of their Posh Life company. So this is a Posh Life property. I just love that title.
Yeah, great title. And we're going to meet Paul and Josh right now. We're going to go inside. They're going to talk about their project, and you're going to be very, very interested to hear what they're going to be doing with this great building.
Yeah, so let's go. Well, here we are in the music room, standing with Josh and Paul. I'm very excited to hear about all this Posh Life company project. What do you think, Wayne?
We just ask the viewers to use your imagination because it's not what it's going to be in a few months, or maybe a little bit longer. But you're going to really appreciate what it looks like now and what it's going to look like down the road.
But, kudos to them. I have such admiration for seeing a space and then bringing it to life. So welcome to Living in the City, and thanks for your time today.
Thank you for having us.
So I guess let's start at the beginning. How did you get involved with the Colonnade?
Well, I grew up in Scranton, just a few blocks from here, and we've driven by this property like many other Scrantonians for years and have watched it fall into disrepair. And Josh started coming out to Scranton with me a few years ago, and it was a property that we always had in the back of our minds as something that we wanted to do something with. And so as part of our business of special events, we were looking for a property that we could use and renovate and create our own business.
Josh, where are you? You're not from Scranton?
No,
or?
I'm originally from Michigan, but I've lived in New York for the past 15 years, and that's where I met Paul.
And you were drawn to the city, though, in the space?
Yes. As Paul said, we've driven by many times. We have some other real estate in the area, and so this is a house that we always looked at and loved. And when we were looking at a place to start our business out here, we had looked at several properties, and this was really, when we looked at the property, it was something that had everything that we wanted and more, because it's got the 3 floors, so it's got more that we can do with it. It had the side yard that we could actually add an addition, but it was a historical house that we could give something back to the community also.
We're Scrantonians. This is one of those mystery houses. We always drive by and see the house, but nobody ever got a chance to get inside of it. So the viewers are going to see the whole thing today and what it looks like, and it's going to be, I think, it's a treat for a lot of Scrantonians that never had a chance to get in.
What were your first thoughts when you stepped inside? Can you kind of recreate that moment for us?
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was like going back in time, though. It was like a time capsule in itself, and there was a lot of furniture still left in here, and it looked like someone had been in here, just living here for years and had never left.
Right.
So there were boxes and piles of everything in here. You can just imagine the rooms were just piled high with all kinds of stuff.
Prior to the sale, too, and this was the room that had the baby grand piano, the Steinway, and that was really interesting because you could kind of visualize what this room should be like.
Exactly.
And of course, it wasn't a hard change for you guys to say, okay, this is the music room.
Right.
Because it worked for them for years, for the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of imagination, though.
Oh, yeah.
I think, to see what it could be at the end.
Yeah, you guys should be applauded for that.
Well, I think that's where your background comes in. I know you're both very accomplished in your fields. Do you want to talk about what you do and what your background is? Sure.
We're both in the fashion industry. I work for a designer named Rebecca Taylor, and I'm a technical designer, so I work with patterns and the garments and fitting on the live model. But it's also a very creative environment, and so we're always challenged to come up with new ideas and to execute what the designer's vision is. And so Josh and I have segued into event planning because that's also a very creative outlet for us, and that's how we developed our business.
So our plans for the property is the main floor will really be an event space where we will be able to have events from as small as 25 people in the parlor and dining room to up to 200 people when the grand ballroom is built for sit-down dinners. We're really planning on doing any type of special event that you want, from a small business meeting to a private cocktail party to a wedding. And the house really kind of lends itself to having an event in your own home, but you don't have to get your house ready. Our house is already for you. And really, we really hope to elevate the scale of events here in Scranton. We will have full-service valet And we will be here actually ourselves managing and running the property. We'll be putting a full chef on board on our staff. We'll be building, the addition is about 1,800 square foot, and that will be the ballroom along with a full-service commercial kitchen. And then in the front, towards the street, we will be adding an events terrace. So we'll be able to tent that or non-tent it for cocktails, hors d'oeuvres. Kind of the plan is you'll come into the original house for cocktails and hors d'oeuvres. You'll move into the grand ballroom, and then you can come back into the original parlor and dining room and dance on the wood floors if you want to have a band or a DJ.
Like an Edith Wharton novel. I'm really excited about this. I'll have to get my gown. No, this sounds fabulous. And then you will have some spaces available for maybe people who are staying here for the wedding. Is that later on down the path, or?
Yes, probably phase 2. We'll have 6 suites available upstairs, 3 on the second floor and 3 on the third floor.
So what is sort of the vision? Do you have a 5-year plan, or what are your goals for the space?
In 5 years, we hope to have our full service offering with the event space, with the suites available, and we'll be fully restored and landscaped and running our business. We hope to pull people from all over the area, not only Scranton, but all of northeastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York, to come out here to stay, to visit the area, to have events here.
Scrantonians will be thrilled when the day they can drive down the street and see this beautiful building all restored on the exterior. I know you started already. The columns have been put in, and everyone's impressed with that job alone, because it was always like, well, what's going to happen with the building? Are they going to be able to save those columns? Yeah. Are they going to lose the upper floor?
Yeah.
And so we appreciate that much that's been done so far and stabilize the building. But they're beautiful, and they're not the original columns. Obviously, they weren't redone. They're a
replacement.
Yeah.
It's a concrete composite material, and the Scamozzi caps are actually they're also a composite, and the bottom portion is fiberglass.
Okay. Yeah, we saw them pouring concrete in the base, and so it's really been stabilized and looks great. So that's always the first step. That was
Hopefully it'll last another 100 years.
Yeah.
We'll all be wearing our spacesuits. When do you hope to open for phase 1? Is that the event part?
Yes.
Our goal is to open hopefully by Labor Day of 2008, so that we'll be ready for fall events. That's really it's a year process. Hopefully, actually next week they should start digging the base or the foundation for the addition. So we're really ready to go, and then it will be basically about a year.
Okay, great. Well, I think what we can do now, Maureen, is we'll take a step back. We'll let Paul and Josh describe the architectural renderings that are on display behind us, and give the viewers a better idea what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
So this is the original structure here, with the columns that we've already replaced. We'll be restoring the entire outside with new composite materials. This is the new addition that we're planning, with a banquet room in the front. It's set back from the street, so there'll be an events terrace in the front. There'll be a drop-off point here on the street, so guests can enter here and come into the property this way. In the back of this addition, there'll be a full-service kitchen. This banquet facility can seat up to 125. If we put a tent in the front, we can seat up to 200 for dinner. We plan to do cocktails and hors d'oeuvres in the original house, in the music room, the parlor, and the dining room, and then people can move into the new banquet facility for dinner. This is the original structure. We're standing in the library, also known as the music room. This is the fireplace that we're standing at right now. There's a large center hall with a parlor. The original dining room of the house is in the back, with an area that will be converted to restrooms for our purposes. We'll be adding on the addition over here that you can see is set back from the street, so there will be a terrace in the front, a bay window, and a full banquet facility that can seat up to 125. The commercial kitchen will be in the back with access on this corner and a full basement below. The original kitchen, we believe, was back in this area, and the servants would bring food through this area here to the original dining room. This is the plan for the second and third floors, where we'll have 6 suites, 3 on each floor. Each suite will have its own sitting area and bedroom and bathroom, with a little wet bar area for guests with a mini bar and refrigerator set up. There's one entire suite here, and one across the back, again, a grand center hall, and on the third floor, the same setup. And what's interesting to note is that the third floor was actually added as a ballroom when the house was renovated at the turn of the century. But it was broken up into apartments, and we'll be maintaining those original spaces, enlarging our bathrooms to accommodate more modern fixtures. But each suite on the third floor will have its own sun porch.
Okay, now we're in the former dining room, and which is going to be part of the area where you're going to use for, I guess you're going to have dancing here if you have a little band set up across it in the living room. But what we'd like to talk about this time is Paul and Josh have some background and some history to this amazing house.
From what we understand, the house was built in 1873 by the Blair family, and it stayed in the Blair's hands for many, many years. And it was actually renovated by the Blair family in around the turn of the century, 1908, we believe. And that's when the third floor was added as a ballroom because the family entertained so often they needed the space.
We always heard rumors that it was a ballroom, but nobody ever really confirmed that, so you're the first one to confirm.
Well, the house was on the architectural, the hill.
Historical Hill House tour this spring. And then we had some of the family of the Blairs come through the property, and we actually had one lady who had said she actually had danced up there. And so it really confirmed to us that it had been a ballroom, because also we had just heard, and we were like, well, it's a good story, we're going to go with it. But then we actually had people confirm it, which was really nice to know. And when you go up there, you can kind of see how maybe the back of it would have been a few maids' quarters, and then the front could have been all open, just of how the moldings and so forth change, because in probably the 40s, the second and third floor were converted to some apartments.
Kind of gives you the feeling that southern, plantation feel with the ballrooms. That's how they always had those big ballrooms within the houses.
Do we know what the Blair family did, like what the money came from, or where the money came from?
The elder Blair was an industrialist in the area. He was involved in banking and the railroad and mining, so he had his fingers in a lot of different pots, and that's how he made his money. His sons, I think he had 4 sons, and none of them really went on to be as prominent as he was in the business world.
So what happened then?
And Blairstown, New Jersey is actually named after the Blair family who built this property also. So there's also a tie to Blairstown, New Jersey also.
You talked a little bit in the beginning about maintaining some of the historic aspects of the buildings. You want to talk a little bit about that, what you're doing specifically to have that old world elegance, I guess?
Well, all of the moldings that exist will be restored. You don't see this kind of work anymore. I mean, they're so ornate. We've restored the columns already outside. They look almost exactly like the ones that were there. And those are the kinds of things that we'll be doing, using modern-day materials to replicate, the historic architecture.
And then we'll also be like behind us, you see the original gas O'Lear fixtures. So like those will all be redone. Those will be put back into the exact rooms, but then we'll be accenting it with additional lighting also for our purposes. But we really want people when they come through to get a feel like they're stepping back almost in time, but then with a modern day twist to it also.
That's what I was just thinking. That's great.
So what happened after the Blair family? Do you have any more history after that, or?
Well, it changed hands a few times in the late 40s, and then the Munchak family took it over.
Okay.
And from what we've heard, the Munchak family had intended to use it as a funeral home.
I heard the same thing, yeah.
And it was broken up into apartments, and it looked like the space was prepared to be a funeral home, but the myth is that the neighbors protested to City Hall.
For a zoning issue.
Yes, and it was never actually a functioning funeral home.
I think when I was here, while it was for sale, I think there was even some chairs that were here that said, Munchak Funeral Home.
Some chairs, a little curb sign that said it. So I think that the house was basically ready, but we don't believe it was ever used because of the neighbors having issues with zoning.
A lot of stories in this house, and newer ones
Probably
coming.
a few ghosts, too.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Friendly ghosts, yeah. They'll be gone by the time anybody comes through.
Well, the other aspect about the building that isn't necessarily historic but ties in with it is the addition. That sounds really exciting. So I'm hoping you can take us out, and I know it's sort of a lot right now, but maybe we can use our imaginations and take a look at that.
Absolutely.
Well, this is the part where the viewers have to use their imagination, but I think that's really exciting because in about a year from now, we'll see the finished project. We're standing on where the addition is going to go in.
That's correct. Directly behind us, you can see where the guests will enter the new space. And so the addition will be about 1,800 square feet for the ballroom and the commercial kitchen, and we will be standing on the events terrace.
This is obviously a big project. Has the city been involved at all? Have they helped you? Have they been a positive, partner?
Yes, absolutely. We met with the mayor very early in the project, and he was very supportive and continues to be to this day.
And you were talking about the other support from some of the residents in the college, correct?
Yes, we've had, when we were on the historical house tour, we had somebody who grew up across the street who remembers what the house used to look like. Our neighbor, the Scartellis, have been wonderful next door, along with, we've had to go to the zoning board twice for different things, and all of the neighbors have basically said, we're 100% behind you, which is really nice.
Big help, big help.
And that makes it a lot easier, and it is a great thing for the city. I'm really fascinated about the whole design. Did you use a local company, or who was actually doing the design here of the building?
We worked with the architectural firm Hemler and Colonnade. Richard Leonori, Jennifer Davis, and Michael Mueller helped us out with the design.
All local people.
Yes.
Mostly Scrantonians, I think. And Richard lives in the Hills, so I know he's probably very, very happy to be involved in this project.
Yes, he is very excited.
It's great.
And you were looking to make the addition fit in and
Correct.
the
It'll
history.
be complementary to the original structure.
Yeah. So, what about now? You mentioned a terrace garden, or what kind of landscaping are you thinking of, or do you have ideas about that yet, or is that farther down?
Well, it'll be a little bit farther down the road,
Yeah.
but we hope to have like a cutting garden so that we could cut some flowers for the rooms and very natural looking.
Beautiful and functional.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. Thanks for your time. It's just fabulous. I can't wait to see it. This is a great.
And we'll be back. We're going to be back probably as your project moves forward to get a chance to see how it's been going. Well, we're back
We are back in this lovely spring day.
at the Colonnade on Jefferson Avenue and Mulberry Street. This great old building that's starting to take shape.
Yeah, it's really neat. Wayne and I were here probably last fall talking to Josh and Paul, the owners, and really right behind us was just a field. And it's amazing. They had pointed out the plans, and it's actually looks like a building now.
It's happening, exactly. It's a
Yeah.
full-fledged construction site. They've been working hard for the last 5 or 6 months, and things are taking shape. The outside is starting to look fantastic.
I think that's why we wanted to come back in this interim, because so often you see a building that's like, oh, wow, it's done, and you don't get a chance to see the hard work and how it really comes together.
Exactly. So we're looking forward now, I guess, to talk to Josh and Paul and see what's new with them.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, Wayne and I have made it over to the new dining room at the Colonnade. You have to use your imagination a little bit, but this is why we wanted to do the show, to kind of show the nuts and bolts before the glamour part. So we're standing here with Josh to my far left and Paul right next to me, the owners who are working hard to get this ready for next fall. Is that right? Yeah.
October 2008.
Correct.
Yeah. So do you want to tell us what's been happening since I guess we were maybe here in October? So.
Yes. Well, obviously, a little bit of building has been going on. We're standing in the new addition that went up last fall, and they've been working continuously on it since then. And also, a lot has happened on the outside, which you can see. All the new windows are going in, the new siding is up, a lot of the detail work is being done out there, and we hope that the exterior will be finished by the end of May.
Yeah, for the viewers, what you see on the outside is a true restoration project. It's really coming to life. You can see, especially on the side that this building is on, it really looks great. It does.
How does it feel to watch it come together? Do you have any personal thoughts on?
Well, it's really great. Last time we actually stood about in this spot, and it was just weeds and grass, and we said, they're going to start digging it. And so to see, 8 months later that we have a full basement, we have all the steel in, that this room is actually coming into what it is going to look like. The heating and cooling, is in, the lighting. So we're making progress. It's never as fast as you want, but, we can, the end of the tunnel is in sight, which is really nice.
Yeah, this is great space too because I don't know if the viewers can see how high the ceilings are going to be. It's going to be wide open. It's going to have a real nice feel, a lot of natural light. So it's going to be a nice place for people to come sit down and have dinner.
You said this in the first one we did, but how many people can fit in the dining room here?
In this room, we can seat 120 people. And it does connect to the original house, so part of the space is original, and then it it flows nicely into the new space.
Yeah, it really does. We noticed that when we came in, how everything flowed right into this room. It's going to be really a lot of fun to have an event here. We're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to getting here for the grand opening, at least, right?
We're looking forward to our grand opening also.
So right now, would you say you're in phase two, more of what we were talking earlier about, kind of just getting the things that you need, the utilities?
Yes, the infrastructure is all happening now, the boring stuff, the electrical, the plumbing, the heating and cooling, and so it's really, it's almost finished, and we should be moving to the finishing phase very soon.
Now, is that the more fun phase? Is that the fabric and color?
Yeah, it's the drywall and the trim and the moldings, and then hopefully by the end of the summer we'll start with the colors and the paint and the fabric.
Are you allowed to? Oh, go ahead.
Well, we're probably rushing it a little bit, but do you already have that in your mind? Do you already have that kind of picked out?
Yes, we do. Yes, we've got color, we've got fabric, everything's waiting and ready to be implemented.
Right, we have furniture on order. We are storing things all around Scranton. It's amazing. Keep this on hold for us. We'll be back in a couple months for it. But basically, we've planned out everything, and it's just getting to those next phases so that then we can finish everything up.
Have you had any inquiries yet as to people wanting to use this?
Absolutely. We have taken a couple bookings already for October, and so, we plan to be open in October, so people can book their holiday parties now. So, yeah, it's very exciting. People are very excited about it, and we have bookings into 2009 already also.
Thanks for taking time out. I know you're both busy, but we're trying to kind of capture the process. We said so often people just see it and it's finished and it looks
Right.
beautiful, but they don't see all the hard work. And I think people are fascinated by that. That's why those shows are so popular on the Home and Garden channel. So
Well, we're happy to show it off, and we'll be happy to show it again when it's finished.
We're really looking forward to that because when we come back next time, it's going to be color, it's going to be finished, it's going to be curtain, it's going to be flooring, it's going to be awesome, and we're really going to enjoy that.
it's kind of like theater. That's kind of my background. It's the same thing. This is the rehearsal and then the big event. So again, Josh, Paul, we really appreciate your time and good luck. We're looking forward to the
Thank you.
future. Well, I feel guilty. I finally scraped one wall in my house after a year. I mean, seeing that, I'm getting like, wow, I can't even imagine.
It's a big deal, this project,
Yeah,
but it's always fun to sit down and talk to Josh and Paul and see where they're at, and just nice to see their enthusiasm
Right.
still for this tough project that's going to be a wonderful thing at the end.
yeah, they're both so calm but knowledgeable and patient and really have a vision for the city and the Colonnade. I mean, I think it's going to, even down to they've mentioned some of the cut flowers they want to have on the sign, the cut flower garden.
Right here, yeah,
Yeah.
they're going to grow them here and cut them
Yeah.
and put them right in the dining room. That's going to
Yes.
be awesome.
So after the necessary stuff is over, like the plumbing and heating, it'll be fun to come back and see the fun part.
To it. Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I hope the viewers can, stay with us on that one too, because it's going to be phenomenal to get here and see the finished product as well.
This is why people like television shows about redoing things, because I just can't believe it. It's like magic. I feel like I'm in a fairy tale book, like,
It's the
know.
ultimate before and after, and what an after! It's phenomenal. So.
And we really have Josh and Paul to thank for that, who have been working very hard on that and who have become such treasured people in our community. And so we're happy to have them here today to talk about what they're doing here at the Colonnade and how things are going and hopes for the future. So welcome.
Well, thank you very much.
So what room are we in now? What
We're in the blue room, otherwise known as the music room. We have a restored 1923 Steinway baby grand piano that was original to the property that we fully restored. So, it's the music room. We can use that for events, or it's just a beautiful piece of furniture and history, to have in this property with us.
What other kinds of rooms do you have here? What have you done? You call this a music room. Are there anything other rooms that have a name, maybe?
Well, we have renamed the original parlor and dining room into the Mulberry Room because it's the room that sits on Mulberry Street. Everyone in Scranton, you say the Mulberry Room and they, have a vision already in their head, but it's the original parlor and dining room. That room works really well with this room, kind of for cocktails, hors d'oeuvres, that, our, opening reception time. And, then we also have the original billiard room, and then we have our new addition, which is our grand ballroom. So we can do, any event as small as 10 people in the Mulberry Room to give you that intimate feel, but then we can go up to, 120 seated for a sit-down, full-service dinner in our ballroom.
Okay. So as people walk in the main entrance, the Mulberry Room is to the left, the Blue Room is to the right, just so they have a feel of what they're doing when they get here.
Exactly.
And what's nice about it, you mentioned before, you can have these nice little small, intimate cocktail hour type events in the Mulberry Room, and then expand that to the entire first floor for a larger event.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What kind of events have you seen already? Because you've been open since when? When did
We
you
opened
officially?
in October. October 15th was our first event for the San Andreas Society, but we've had several events, including one for the United Way, a charity benefit in December that was holiday-oriented. We had a great turnout for that. But we've had all kinds of events from business functions to birthday parties, rehearsal dinners, you name it, we've had it here already. We've had over 75 events since we opened.
Wow, 75 events.
That's
that
so
you've opened.
great.
Well, I guess Scranton has responded to the Colonnade.
Yeah, that's what's amazing. I think it's become a like even the outside of the building. I remember at Christmas you had it decorated. Like the building itself has become a new character in the neighborhood, so to speak.
We
So
mentioned in one of our earlier shows, this is kind of what was our building. You know, Scrantonians have a little affinity to this building because we watched it for years and years fall into disrepair, and then we watched it again as you guys brought it back. So it's really exciting for us to be here.
what does it feel like? I know you put a lot of heart and soul into this. I mean, how does it feel looking at it now?
It's really wonderful to see, you know, a building that has come from where it was at to where it is now. But the bigger, better feeling is just that everyone in Scranton, they felt like they were part of this building, and they felt that they were part of bringing it back to life. The mayor, the city of Scranton, the Historical Society, you know, were wonderful to work with, and so we have a lot to thank them for, but we also have all of Scranton. You know, we've received letters underneath our door. We've seen letters in the mail, people who have sent us emails, you know, little girls who have walked in and said, I want to live here someday. And so that's what really makes it important to both Paul and I, because we feel like that we did something great for the community, but also that the community has responded in such a positive way.
And as the current president of the Architectural Heritage Association, I want to say that we also partnered with the Colonnade and helped them a little bit, and we're thrilled to be part of this project because it was, you know, this is what preservation and restoration is all about.
Well, and something like this can lift the spirit of a place and make it, the city is, you know, cool again. It's like, look at this gorgeous building we have here. And you're still not done, though. Do you want to talk a little bit about the suites or the rooms that you're working on?
Yes, our contractors will be coming back in a few weeks to start upstairs, so hopefully by the spring we'll have 3 suites available for overnight accommodations, and each suite is approximately 500 square feet with its own sitting room, bedroom, and private bathroom.
So that'll be episode 4. That'll really be maybe our final episode here, you know, and that's what we really want to get to is the final episode because that's going to be phenomenal.
What is sort of the focus with those? Is that for people who are attending events here, or, you know?
Well, really, it'll be for anybody, but we envision, you know, someone who's getting married here would be able to stay, you know, people in their bridal party, family, friends can all stay on property and have a wonderful event and, you know, get up the next day and have brunch and, you know, just be able to spend the time with family and friends in a more intimate, home-like environment.
What I also admire this, besides the beautiful building, is you have such a skill and a gift for hospitality. Like when people come here, do you think that's why people like, I mean, I'm putting you on the spot here, but it's a compliment. I mean, really, to every single detail seems taken care of.
Well, really, that is, you know, one of our goals and our missions, you know, as a business, to create that personal feel. And so the space lends itself to that and works for us. But also, Josh and I work very hard to make sure that our clients are taken care of and that each person and each need is met by one of us or one of our staff.
There's a definite, when you walk in the door, there's a definite feeling of warmth when you come in here. And part of it's you guys, obviously, and it's the decorating and the furnishings, and it's a whole package. It's really something else. And I think, too, a part of it is people like to be involved in a unique space. You know, they're coming here, they're not coming to the box with the drop ceiling and the, you know, fake chandeliers. I mean, this is authentic, and that says a lot for our community that we actually reach out to be part of something like this.
In the, I call it again, the center hallway, we have 3 suites up here. Each suite has its own private sitting room, bedroom, bathroom, honor bar. We have wireless internet service. We have Egyptian cotton sheets, flat screen TVs. All of the bathrooms are all brand new, even though they look more authentic to the property, but they're all brand new. I say to people they used to be pink, avocado green, and baby blue. So we've definitely made a change in them. And actually right behind you is a very interesting detail. This actually used to be part of the center hallway. This was added in the 50s when it was converted into apartments. So for our use, it works perfectly, and that's why the carpet extends from one end of the hallway to the other into this suite.
Now, are these suites more geared to people who have events here, or what is the focus of this
We
floor?
say that we are a boutique hotel, which basically means that we are open all the time for any guest who wants to come and stay with us. We have a full maid staircase down the back so people can enter and exit at their leisure. But it is also great if you do have an event downstairs, you can come right up to your room. We bring a continental breakfast to the room at the time of your choosing in the morning. We have had some groups where they've rented all 3 suites, and then we'll actually do their breakfast for them out here in the hallway. We did a little afternoon tea a couple weekends ago for a mother and her 5 daughters that were going to an event at the Cultural Center, and they normally went into New York, but the mother was getting up in age, so they weren't able to go to New York anymore, so they came and stayed, went to the Cultural Center, had their breakfast out here, their afternoon tea, and so that was really nice that local people stayed but made what I call a staycation out of it. One of the things is this actually piece of furniture, the sofa, was actually in the property when we purchased it. We had it reupholstered and redone. Each of the suites, has its own private sitting room, bedroom, and bathroom, but we believe most of the sitting rooms would have actually been like the dressing rooms. This suite is actually very interesting. Also, this door goes behind the maid staircase and connects to the back suite. So we actually have one suite that fully connects, so it's almost like 2 connecting suites. This is the wide plank floor, but then this is the suite where we believe was Mrs. Blair's suite because it has a newer, smaller floor, which we believe was probably done in like the 20s or 30s. And the window behind the sofa here is where we were told their side porch was, and where the Blair chauffeur would hoist whiskey over the baluster for Mr. Blair because Mrs. Blair didn't like him to have whiskey in the house.
I would imagine people like coming to a place like this because it isn't corporate. It's like got a history and a sense of personality that comes from you and Paul. And do people comment on that?
Yeah, that's one of the things that I love. At every event, somebody has a story. Whether it's just that they were sitting at the stoplight and I was going to Mercy Hospital to see my mom, and I used to sit by that poor house, or I was going up to the university because I went to school every day, or I was here, I heard this, I heard that, is it true? And that's what I never realized, not being a Scrantonian, of how many people had this emotional attachment to this property, but it wasn't until we opened as an actual business and people came through the doors that we were able to connect kind of all these people who had an emotional attachment. So, that's the nice thing that we didn't really know about until our doors opened.
Right.